Hi there, this is Kendara, and we are going to talk about manifestation today. The thing about manifestation is it's all in your mind and it's feeling it. The one secret to knowing you can have it is feeling it, thinking of what it's going to be like. Because honestly, the mind does not recognize the difference between what it thinks is happening and what's actually happening. So the idea is to keep your mind in a place where you're feeling and knowing it's occurring. So there's several things that are really good to keep in mind when you're getting into manifestation. One of them is meditation, which could simply consist of sitting there and counting your breath, breathing in for a count of 5, holding it, and then breathing out through your mouth for a count of 5. And constantly, as you're doing this, breathing out, you say, breathing. So you breathe in, eyes open or closed, doesn't make a difference. Hold it, and then breathe out and silently say the word breathing. What that does is that gives your mind a very quiet place of receptivity. Another way to really keep your mind in a very positive place where you can manifest is by getting rid of self-sabotaging behavior. So that would consist of eliminating or at least controlling anything that would sabotage it. So the main reason, or one of the big reasons people block themselves, is because of that darn ego. Now, people think ego a lot of times is a negative thing, like, oh, you've got a big ego. But actually, it's not. The ego is the part of you that gives you the emotional part. It's what Sigmund Freud referred to as the id. It's not negative. It's just a case where you really have to control it. So one of the steps to controlling or working with your ego, because you really don't want to control it, you want to make it your friend. You say to it, I hear you. I hear you saying, oh, don't go out in this weather, it's raining. Or I hear you saying, don't go up and smile at that person. What if they don't smile at you? You just say to them, I hear you. Thank you. Now, and give it a job. Now help me find a way to be able to do that. Or now help me decide what to have for dinner. And son of a gun, it'll work. The reason I'm talking about those things is because so much of manifestation is allowing yourself to feel it. You know that the mind does not register negatives? It doesn't. So if you say, I don't want to be late for work, or I don't want to get caught in the rain, it absolutely does not get the word don't. Animals are like that too. If you say to a pet, don't do this, it doesn't catch the word don't, in addition to which they're seeing pictures. Pictures and the way you look at things is incredibly powerful. So you have to kind of psych your mind into changing your language. Instead of saying, I don't want, mention what you do want. Or say, I want to avoid. I want to avoid being late. I want to be on time. It's all about the mind. Mind is healer. Mind is slayer. Now, one positive way to get your mind in a very good, helpful state are affirmations. Affirmations are positive thoughts, positive sentences, preferably said in the present, which are something you would like to manifest about yourself or something you'd like to emphasize about yourself. For instance, let's say you wanted to manifest wealth. It could be as simple as saying, I am wealthy, or I have abundance. Now, if affirmations are so powerful, you might ask, why don't people use them? Well, they do. But the thing is, 90% of the affirmations people use are negative. Think of that, 90%. So what if you turned it around? I mean, it could shift everything. I hear you, ego. Now help me find a different way to say it. So the best way to do an affirmation is you think of 2 or 3 areas that you really want to manifest in. Better to only start with 3 or less. And then you write down a couple positive thoughts in that way. For instance, we already spoke of the money. I am wealthy. I have abundance. Talk about health. I have health. I'm feeling great. You never, ever talk about what you want to get rid of. I don't want to be sick. No, 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 no. You don't do that. That's a no-no in Kendara's book on manifestation. But all kidding aside, it really is powerful. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Abraham Hicks, but there's a woman named Esther Hicks who channeled a group soul called Abraham. Now, channeling is just when you're letting higher energy come in. It's not possession. It's just allowing yourself to be open. And she did dozens of books, and still does, I believe, and dozens of talks and all sorts of amazing things on manifesting. And the secret to it is allowing yourself to feel it. So some really good ways to psych yourself into doing it are creating a vision board, for instance. So I'm going to give you a story about a vision board. Vision boards, to start with, are maybe a poster-sized piece of cardboard on which you've put pictures of something you want to manifest. Let's say, for instance, you wanted to manifest the love of your life. Well, you'd put a picture of people who you might consider yourself being with, or even better, just a couple holding hands, the words love, little hearts, just sweet little things like that. Now, there are 2 secrets to a vision board. Number 1 is you never do it for more than one subject. You can do more than one, but never do it for more than one subject, because you really want to focus on it and you really want to concentrate on it. And another thing that you can do is you can put down 3 little words on the bottom of your vision board. And they are, or something better. So now I'm going to tell you my story. So I had this friend who really wanted to get married. He'd never been married before. He was in his late 50s and he decided it was time. So he decided to do a vision board. And on this vision board, he had a couple holding hands. We were in Denver at the time. The words love, all sorts of sweet little romantic things, little hearts, little doves, and so on and so forth. He had something which I thought was very strange, and that was a picture of a tail of a Hawaiian airplane. And I said, Mr. X, why do you have a picture of a tail of a Hawaiian airplane? And he said, because I think it'd be a really good place to go on our honeymoon. And I thought, I don't, but I'm not the one who wants to get married at this time. So he did the poster, the vision board, and then he asked me if I knew any dating sites, and I told him I did. And then he asked me to look at, this is how desperate he was, and then he asked me to look at his profile, and I said, I would do this, I wouldn't do this. He should have really given me a finder fee for this, but he didn't. And within 6 weeks, this awesome woman contacted him. And she said, I saw your profile, I loved it. I felt such a connection that I think I could have written it about myself, and I think we should meet. And he said, well, you sound really nice. We have a lot in common, but there's one problem. Now, if I were doing a class, I'd say, do you want to guess what it is? But I'll say it anyway. You want to guess what it is? It's a little interactive class here. Very well, I will tell you. Because in all the times I've done this, only one person's guessed it. And the problem was that he lived in Denver and she lived in Hawaii. Anyway, she said, distance can be navigated, compatibility and love cannot. And she came to Denver in the dead of winter, and within 1.5 years they were married. And this person is living in Hawaii now. So honestly, if you want it, if you think it, you can have it. So I've just got so many amazing stories to share with you. I moved into this place that I live in now last April. And I had requests for my place. I wanted it to be larger than where I was living. I wanted it to be less expensive. I wanted it to allow pets. I wanted it to have a balcony or a deck. And I wanted it to be walking distance because I have not had a car for years out of choice. And I got called about apartments maybe in the 2 years that I was on lists for probably 6 or 7 places. And I turned them all down because none of them felt right. And I thought, okay, I'm going to stay where I am at rather than just get something to move. And then last February, I got a call. And it was from a place that I'd been on the list for 2 years. And they said, you came to the top of the list. Without even thinking, I went, I'm interested. Because I heard the words, welcome home. And I knew I was home. So I went in and saw this place, which number one was about twice the size of my other apartment. Was less than half the price, had a balcony, allowed animals, and was walking distance from downtown. And I've just been really, really lucky. So my thought is this: if you want it, you can absolutely have it. You just need to replace the negative thoughts with the positive and allow yourself to think of what it feels like. What does it feel like to have this? And do not let the negativity get in the way. Now, before I close this interesting and informative talk, at least I hope it is, I'm going to share with you the cardinal #1 rule to manifestation, and that is this: unless somebody is directly involved in helping you attain your goals, you never, ever tell them. And I will tell you why. Because a lot of times when you're sharing with people, you want them to agree with you. You want them to confirm something you're not sure about. Not always, but a lot of times. So, just keep it to yourself. I like the show Master Chef, even though I don't cook. And on this show, they take all these amazing home cooks and then they have a contest, and the winner gets a cookbook and gets $500,000 and all sorts of awesome things. So I was watching Master Chef, and they had the 10 finalists. And one of the finalists was this guy who had not told his mother because he did not want to tell her until he was on it. So that's the story, and he won. No, he didn't really win, but I thought that would be a nice thing to add. This concludes my talk on manifestation. If you're interested in contacting me for a reading or a class, on the bottom of the screen is my contact information. And I want to thank you for joining me on this journey we call manifestation. Stay tuned for many more interesting and fun talks, and have a great day. Namaste.